By the time I read it, right from the start, it was already a very famous book, and it was a very well-received book, and it won the Pulitzer Prize. So that's always a challenging place to start when you're talking about an adaptation. This does go back and forth in time, but it's pretty propulsive. There's quite a bit of action. There are big set pieces that seem cinematic because it's very pop culture savvy too. But still, the biggest challenge was sort of rising to the level of the book and keeping the complexity of the book, the intelligence, the wit, keeping the voice of the book. When I first talked to Viet, that was his biggest concern. He felt that the success of the book was because of the unique voice. The biggest way we dealt with that was getting Park Chan-wook on board because he has a pretty equivalent visual language, the same kind of intelligence and sort of craftsmanship, but also subversive wit.
I don't think there was a challenge per se, because even when I was reading the original novel, there were many images that came to my mind. That is to say, this original novel was very easy for me to approach in that sense. And also, I had Don McKellar next to me. I have this experience working with him beforehand, before the Sympathizer. So in terms of coming up with the line and polishing it, so it will be sound natural in English expression, Don was tasked to do it.
When we think about the Vietnam War, it's been depicted in a certain way, from a very Western-centric perspective. Apocalypse Now to Platoon to, I even remember watching like TV shows like Tour of Duty about depictions of the Vietnam War and thinking that this was the narrative and this is how it was. And to finally read a book that actually illustrates a lot of perspectives from the Vietnamese experience that I haven't heard before, it weighed heavy on me to really try and do justice to these stories that we haven't heard before.
That's like devastating to me.
Yeah.
No, but do you know what I mean? As a young person in Australia, how you're learning about your people's experience is from a Western experience.
Yeah.
So I'd say that, really taking story, history, trauma, pain, from the missing perspective, that's a really important, and I think beautiful thing to be a part of, to try and bring that to life.
How do we keep the fun of the book? How do we keep the intelligence of the book? How do we keep it off kilter? How do we keep both sides alive so that the binary of the book, the two-faced element, where there was sympathy goes both ways, as those were the kind of questions that kept me working.
A Vietnamese-led show we've never had that for us. Like, we've never acted in Vietnamese before. So to have that opportunity is such an amazing opportunity for us.
And the book, the Pulitzer Prize winner by Viet Thanh Nguyen.
Yeah, the story is so good. And like HBO, A24, director Park Chan-wook, Robert Downey Jr., Sandra Oh.
Team Downey.
I mean, I don't have enough fingers to
it's like you literally had enough fingers.
Yeah,
but but it's like catching lightning in the bottle, really. Like, to all of this happening at the same time. So
the even more miraculous thing is Zui and I actually were very close friends before we got hired on this show. We're from the same city.
We auditioned together.
We auditioned,
made it here together.
Somehow we get to be best friends on set, playing best friends. It's just like
the
best.
Yeah.